Welcome to our YouTube channel. Hope you're healthy, stay safe, stay at home. Well, today we have Olebogeng and I, who is also a final year veterinary student, and he is possibly our new potential co-host.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So yeah, would you like to share something that's interesting about you?
Okay, I can elaborate more on why I'm here today with you in this space, in this institution of learning.
Okay.
Like Mina, I wouldn't say I've always been a plus boy, but I would say I was a son of the soil growing up, and so I was always rooted and connected to the land, being an African child. And so when I developed and I had to choose a career path, it was sort of like a given that I was going to end up in a space like this, because I've always been interested in animals, always been interested in biology and things like that, and so I naturally found my way into this institution. But it's been a learning curve the whole way, because I had no idea what vet was, and then as I got here and I started meeting,
Me too.
yeah, like coming from the places we come from.
Yeah.
But then we come here, then we meet more people,
Yeah.
and then I was able to see that this is something that I'm passionate about. So yeah.
So are you all about agriculture, or is there something more?
Is this the part where?
Yeah, you tell us about
Okay.
it.
Well, there is more. There is more to Olebogeng than just the vet and the farmer. I'm very much interested in music and those type of arts. I love hip hop. I love rap. I love soul, and I do dabble in writing sometimes. So yeah.
So exactly what really drew you into veterinary science? I know that you signed up that's all enough for that. What is so important, Jim?
I think veterinarians in Africa have a very important role to play, because in the 21st century, when so many people are pushing for a lot of technologically advanced methods of doing things, we have forgotten some of the simpler things, some of the essential things, and I think we have a lot to learn from living a more agrarian lifestyle. It's more sustainable, and so this career path is going to help in pursuing those dreams of mine.
Yeah, I mean, since it's youth month, I think it's worth it that we talk about youth in agriculture, specifically in South Africa or even Southern Africa. So, what would you say? How would you define agriculture, and how is it relevant to today's youth in South Africa specifically?
I think we have, and you'll tell me if you agree, I think we have a duality in the country whereby there's maybe more people who are not really into farming, especially in our age group. They might want to see themselves in an office, they might want to see themselves abroad doing fancy sort of jobs and following those kind of careers where they're in the limelight, etc. And they see all the fame, the glory, maybe the money, and then they not looking at agriculture because they feel like you'll get dirty chasing after pigs, just getting tired and laboring. And I feel like there's also maybe a smaller proportion who are really into it, like you and me, and for whatever reason they might be struggling financially, in terms of acquiring skills and knowledge. And then there's a very small percentage of young farmers who are actually doing it and succeeding. What are your thoughts on the climate of agriculture in the youth 2020?
Well, I think with today's youth, we're not really exposed to the benefits of agriculture. We do not know where our food comes from, and we do not know the potential that agriculture has to add on to our streams of income even. And we don't have a lot of exposure really into agribusiness and agri-economy and all of that. And I think it's something that we really need to look into as the as the youth in South Africa, because there's a lot of things that being a vet student, it's 6 years, so we get a bit of exposure into agriculture and farming and all of that, especially in animal production. And you can see that you can try to do this and that and also keep your office job and also try not to chase pigs, but have people to do that for you. But at the same time, making money, because life now, I think, with us as what? As the youth,
born freeze.
Yeah, I think
Millennials.
with us as born freeze, millennials, there's a lot of pressure from social media and all of that. Yeah.
Be famous.
Exactly.
Lifestyle.
Rapping and
Yeah.
So yeah, I think one encouragement that we do not know of is the money that we could make. And sometimes if you have a good mentor, a good supervisor, and good research and market research, you can actually make more money with just low input in capital.
So do you feel like the youth more of the youth would be interested in agricultural and agrarian careers if they knew what they could do with their own hands, a spade, a shovel, and just some land in the back of their home?
Well, I think with career choices within agriculture, it's a bit far-fetched for us as youth. So I think if one would venture into agriculture for business, sometimes not necessarily with a degree or qualification and all of that, but if you were to understand what the market needs in terms of agriculture, because now it's lockdown, you see, but we're still having
food, meat.
Exactly. We still need food and meat and all of that, and we still have agriculture going on. And South Africa, actually, I mean, most of the Southern African countries realize that we're actually food insecure. And for me, that is a very huge, what do you call it, market, if you were to call it.
So let's talk food security. What is your understanding of food security?
Food security, I think it's when a country has enough agricultural products or enough food to feed its people. And currently, I think there's a study that says before COVID-19, South Africa has recorded to be food insecure. And we also have high poverty rates and all of that. So
you mentioned that
it's broad inside. How do I go about? I want to start farming, but the reality in South Africa or Southern Africa is that we do not have land. I do not have land. I don't think you do have land.
I do not have that.
So what can a young South African person start off with?
Well, this is a great question, because the issue of land, it's a hot one. And yes, to be honest, that's what you need.
Land.
You can't farm in a flat building, skyscraper. But the beauty of agriculture, and if you do it well, you don't have to start off acres and acres and acres and acres. If you have a backyard, you can start very easily with crops within your own backyard. And if you plow, you work the field, you sprinkle some kitchen scraps, leftovers, and sprouts will emerge. With livestock, you will need an area to keep them in, an area for them to at least graze, or if it's intensive like pigs and chickens, you will need a separate area to keep them on. So it's easier for people in the rural areas because your homestead will usually be surrounded with a nice piece of land, unlike in the suburbs or in the city. And this is where the part of the rural development comes into play, in communal land, whereby you can easily set up your young pigsty. You have your 5 pigs in there. You start raising them, taking care of them over a year, and then once you've produced a single cycle, then you can approach the Department of Agriculture. There's lots and lots of grants and land distribution forms that you can fill out, and with a bit of luck, a bit of courage, and if you know the right kind of people, boom, you can be on your way to being a medium.
So I also think another practical way, as you said, communal lands is the best option that we have currently, and it's something that we can all bank on. My own personal experience, we also have cattle, so it's just a small stand, and then we have cattle, and we just send them off to graze in the communal lands, and then they just come back, and we just make sure we add a bit of supplements during winter just to pick up their body condition scores, of which we can talk about these things in maybe another episode. But I think one thing is, most of South African youth, especially if you're underprivileged, we all come back, we all come from
a home,
like a communal land kind of system. Emakhaya, exactly, Emakhaya.
Bundus.
In the bundus, in the village, if you want, stuff like that. So we can actually really bank on that, and it's really not that tough because we have veterinary services, as we mentioned, that each local municipality should have, and they can not actually look after your cattle, but when you identify, your herdsman identifies or encounters any challenges based on medicine, health-wise and stuff, you can call them and stuff. So and I would say another thing is you can retire into this thing. If it goes well, you can we can all do farming as young South Africans. Let's make this thing fashionable. So Olebogeng, thank you for